स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। भूतैर्महद्भिर्यमा पुरो विभु निर्मायश्येते यदमुषु पुरुष भूते गुणान् षोडश षोडशात्मकः सोऽलं कृषिष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे। श्री कृष्ण शरणं शरणागतं तथा अमृतं सतत पिबतं भक्ति वेदांत मार्ग पंथनं सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन्म प्रसन्नं सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन्म प्रसन्नं। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to the morning Srimad Bhagavatam study session. So today we are discussing on text number 49 of the 18th chapter, first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Iti putra kritaghinena sonutapto mahamunihi swayam viprakrito rajna naivagham tad achintayat. Translation by His Loving Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The sage thus regretted the sin committed by his own son. He did not take the insult paid by the king very seriously. Word to word, iti, thus, putra, son, krita, done by, aghena, by the sin, saha, he, the Muni, anutaptaha, regretting, mahamunihi, the sage, swayam, personally, viprakritaha, being so, insulted, rajna, by the king, na, not, eva, certainly, agham, the sin, tat, that, achintayat, thought of it. Paper by Srila Prabhupada. Would anyone like to read the paper, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can.
Yes, Mataji.
The whole incident is now cleared up. Maharaj Parīkṣit's garlanding the sage with a dead snake was not at all a very serious offense, but Shringi's cursing the king was a serious offense. The serious offense was committed by a foolish child only. Therefore, he deserved to be pardoned by the Supreme Lord, although it was not possible to get free from the sinful reaction. Maharaj Parikshit also did not mind the curse offered to him by a foolish Brahmana. On the contrary, he took full advantage of the awkward situation, and by the great will of the Lord, Maharaj Parikshit achieved the highest perfection of life through the grace of Srila Shukdev Goswami. Actually, it was the desire of the Lord, and Maharaj Parikshit, Rishi Shamik, and his son Shringi were all instrumental in fulfilling the desire of the Lord. So none of them were put into difficulty because everything was done in relation with the Supreme Person. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So this verse, and especially the transcendental purport of Srila Prabhupada, we can see that it captures and summarizes everything so nicely. And the key to understand is the providential arrangement by Krishna for this incident. So at the end of the day, it is the arrangement of Krishna, and he uses various personality as his instrument. And of course, the disposition of those personalities is linked up to match what end Krishna ultimately desires. So, if we are to be the heroes of the incident, then it is imperative that actually we work on our disposition. Otherwise, in the greater drama that Krishna is arranging, then we will have the role of a villain. For example, when Lord Brahma stole the calves and the cowhead boys in Brahma Vimoha Lila, then Brahma offers prayers of repentance and forgiveness. And therein, actually, Brahmaji says, and in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is mentioned, that in this pastime, my Lord, because I wanted to test you, I ended up being the villain of this pastime. And actually, Brahmaji, in the last prayer, he indirectly, declares himself to be a Brahmana Rakshasa. A high level of Rakshasa, Brahmana Rakshasa. But he prays to the Lord that when you appear next, then please engage me in your service in the most menial and humble way. And we know that that personality, same personality, comes as Haridas Thakur in the most humble position in Muslim Mohammedan body. And he renders great service to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simply by chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So the lesson we have to learn in our lives is that we have to see the hand of Krishna every day, every moment of what is happening with us, around us, and especially that which is affecting us. Because without Krishna's arrangement, actually nothing can happen. And of course, there are things we deserve, there are things we don't deserve, and accordingly, things will happen to us. The personalities which are involved in our lives merely become an instrument at the hands of providence to deliver the results of our own karma, our own actions. For the devotee, however, who is above karma, Krishna personally takes charge to make arrangement. Sorry, for some reason, my camera doesn't seem to be working. Hare Krishna. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, we can see you now.
Okay. Is the camera working?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Apologies. Yes, so the hand of Krishna we have to see in our lives. And whatever Krishna makes an arrangement for us, we have to grow through that arrangement and learn many things in our lives. So some of the practical points I would like to mention that I've heard from other devotees and Mahārajas in the dealings that we have with one another. So the way to be free from expectations from anything, from each other. And when we don't have expectations from each other, then actually half the problems are resolved automatically. So there are four golden rules. Firstly, always forget bad things that other people have done to us. Secondly, always remember anything bad that we have done to others. Thirdly, always forget anything good we have done to others. And lastly, always remember anything good others have done to us. And in this way, we will be fairly strongly grounded. One of my favorite verses of Bhagavad Gita in terms of dealing with other living entities is from 12th chapter, 15th verse of Bhagavatam, and Bhagavad Gita, and I've quoted this many times as well. Krishna there tells Arjuna, Yasman no dvijate lopo, who is not put into difficulties by others. Meaning, others may put or intend to put us in difficulty, but still we are above it. We do not mind or do not take seriously. Like in this incident, Shamik Rishi did not take seriously the garland of snake around his neck. So although Parīkṣit Maharaj, put the snake around him, but Shamik Rishi did not regard that as significant. So he was not put into difficulty. And Loka no dvijate jayaha. And one who does not put others into difficulty. So we should not put others in difficulty. So for example, here, Shringi, without knowing what had happened, just cursed Parīkṣit Maharaj, which was totally disproportionate to what Parīkṣit Maharaj had done. And in the paper, Srila Prabhupada very nicely summarizes the whole thing. So before we act and before we open the valve of our mouth, we should consider, are my words satyam, truthful? Are my words priyam, pleasing? Are my words hitam, beneficial to the living entity who will be hearing it? Or are my words agitating to hear? If any of the four rules that Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita is broken, then we should just try not to speak and stay level-headed. Satyam, priyam, hitam, and the word should not be agitating. And in this way, then we can actually be a source of pleasure for others. And of course, when we are at the receiving end, when something unpalatable is being said to us, then the rules that we should take into account is that firstly, it should not matter. And if it matters, if we are hurt by someone, then the first conclusion is that we are not experiencing higher taste in Krishna consciousness. Our chanting is not good. Our reading is not good. Our engagement in satsanga is not good. Our service is not good. Something in our spiritual lives is not good. And because we are not experiencing the higher taste, the lower things act as a pinprick. And it doesn't take much for others to inflame us, and anger comes out of us. For example, Prahlad Maharaj, although he is put in great difficulty, Prahlad Maharaj says, I actually don't even desire to cross the cycle of birth and death, because tad virya gayana mahamrita magna chitta, because I'm already magna chitta, absorbed in singing the glories of your transcendental quality, O Krishna, gayana mahamrita. And this is great nectar. So the nectar of Krishna consciousness is missing from our lives. Then secondly, if we are not experiencing higher taste, but at least we should be determined that Krishna consciousness is of higher purpose. So higher goal. We may not be experiencing the result of that goal. We are still working on it. But if our sense of purpose is higher, then at least mentally and intellectually, we will be able to guard against reacting in an uncivilized manner. However, if the sense of purpose is not there, or higher taste of Krishna consciousness is not there, then we will become victimized very easily by the material world. And tiraskritya, material world is full of insults. People will throw insults at us, and it will affect us. And then vipralabdha, material world is full of cheaters, and we will be cheated. Shaptaha, people actually curse. I wish this guy gets run over by a bus. Shiptaha, people neglect. Hataha, and even people kill. To save ourselves from being affected by all these five things, Parīkṣit Maharaj is a perfect example, because he becomes completely absorbed in Krishna Katha, and he becomes completely absorbed in a higher sense of purpose. Therefore, he is not affected by the curse that he received through Shringi. And then another point to also understand, that when we're dealing with devotees and we're dealing with family members, then just because someone disagrees with us does not mean that they have envy against us or they hate us. And we should never take things personally. And also, if we feel that others have taken it in a wrong way, others have become displeased with us because the agreement is not there, then we should take responsibility of that relationship, and we should actually tell them, look, I can feel that there is some tension between us. I'm sorry, for this situation, and I take full responsibility for our relationship, so that it is established as a one which is pleasurable in dealing, that when we meet, there is no feeling of coldness, that we are able to greet each other. We are able to understand that, okay, we may disagree on certain things, but that disagreement does not mean that we don't love each other or don't have affection for each other. This is a very pivotal point to grow together in Krishna consciousness. And ultimately, everything has to be centered around Krishna. I remember my god brother Devkinandan Prabhu said to me that whenever I feel that some of my God family members, they are going away, they are not coming to classes, or there is a disagreement with them, then he takes a conscious effort to call them, make time with them, and sit together with them and only read Srimad Bhagavatam. Make them read Srimad Bhagavatam, hear from them, and also we read Srimad Bhagavatam in that Sangha. And this has been my realization as well, that we have actually been able to come so far since the establishment of Harekrishnatemple Burbank, because our central activity, everyday activity that we are doing together actually is Srimad Bhagavatam. Because when Srimad Bhagavatam is there, when Krishna Katha is there, then Bhagavatam itself says three things happen. That Trishnaya Prashamaha, material hankerings become subdued. And Nirvairaha, although previously there may be envy amongst the people, but as soon as we all sit down together to hear Krishna Katha, that envy totally becomes eradicated. And the third thing that happens is na udvegaha. There is no fear or anxiety. This verse is from 4th Canto, 30th chapter, and 35th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. And it is said, Yatre jnante katham rishta, trishnaya prasanno yataha, nirvairaha yatra bhuteshu, notvego yatra kaschana. Wherever pure topics of Krishna, the transcendental world, are discussed, the members of the audience forget all kinds of material hankerings, at least for the time being. Not only that, but they are no longer envious of each other, nor do they suffer from anxiety or fear. So, Krishna Katha is the solution to all these problems. And also, Sakirai Prabhu and myself, we always urge devotees, yes, it's good. 6 days a week, we are having an online Sangha, but at least on Sunday, we should all come together in person, because this movement, this Krishna conscious movement, is a personal movement. God is personal with his devotees. So at least we can have personal association of each other, and having an honoring prasadam together is a major part of enhancing such relationships. And if we are not sitting down together and having prasadam, then we cannot have then we cannot give each other an optimal chance that our relationships can grow and progress. There may be other priorities in our lives, but somehow or the other, if we make this our first priority, then you will be surprised that everything else, all the parts of other jigsaw puzzle, very nicely fit in. And then effortlessly, we are able to do three things. And what are these three things? Gunadikam mudam lipset. Then when we come across someone who is more advanced than us, then we experience pleasure. Yes, we want to associate with them. Anukrosham gunadmat. When someone who is lower than us, then instead of exploiting them, we are merciful to them. Maitriya Samana Anvicha. And someone who is Saman, equal to us, then instead of having competition or rivalry, we will have friendly relationships with them. And Natapair Abhibhuyate, Bhagavatam says, then we are not subject to tribulations if we can behave in this manner. And this can only happen if Krishna is the center of our lives. And Krishna can only be the center of our lives when we are doing satsang together, when we are praying together, hearing Bhagavatam together, honoring Prasadam together, and doing Sankirtan together. I'm very grateful to the speakers for the last week. Hearing, all of you has been such an enlightening experience. It has, forced me to deepen into the subject matter raised in this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. And I pray that everyone, in the audience also has similar realizations and experiences. And together, we can make good out of Srimad Bhagavatam and progress in devotional service. Any questions or comments, Prabhus and Matajis?
Oh, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Can I share something? Right now, our, the congregation is small, the community is small, and, everything is going nicely. So we are all dealing in a nice manner. We have to remember these points, what you mentioned today, when we actually are growing and, when a lot more devotees are there and, in future when there's a lot of pressure on everyone for service and all that. So that's the time we have to remember all these points. Right now, everything is hunky-dory, everything is smooth, everyone is sweet, nice. But when more pressure is building up on service and all that, then we have to remember these points that yes, I must go back to Bhagavatam, I must go back to the instructions of Krishna, and I must introspect and improve on my behavior. And I say this to myself before I say this to others. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And I have been thinking about this point as well. And somehow or the other, if our sense of purpose for Krishna consciousness is the highest, then I feel that automatically things will set in the right place. And for that to happen, each other's sangha is very important, that we can lift each other up. There's a term called collective consciousness. If everyone's sense of purpose, first Krishna comes in our lives, then wonderful things can happen. And we certainly pray that, in this yatra, we are able to do something wonderful as a service to Srila Prabhupada's pleasure. Any other questions or comments? Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.